Holy crap. Holy crap. Um just wow because this okay, so look, we're talking about Vice TV Dark Side of the Ring episode 2, The Life and Crime of New Jack. And after really an emotional episode 1, this episode 2 is just wow. And oh my god, this New Jack story is just oh my god, it's just it is that was intense. So I have to say, like, I had no clue about a lot of this because I knew who he was in the world of professional wrestling, and as a child back then, it was just like, oh, this dude is crazy. But the backstories to this is just all I can say is just wow. Like when they say the most controversial wrestler ever, that absolutely may be true because I can't think of anybody to even compete right now on the lines of the stories that was told in this episode. I just really had no clue at all. So I'll have to say I wasn't like super like excited to see this episode, but I was interested because I just was just like, well, if episode 1 was what it was, what are they gonna do with episode 2? And this did not disappoint at all. And then seeing the different stories and people's like reactions to him telling the story. So obviously this story had Jim Cornette, Sandman, D'Lo Brown, some ECW security, and obviously New Jack himself were all they were all interviewed for this documentary, and it just was just like my own reactions looking at it was just wow. But like looking at people like Jim Cornette, who's been in the business for years, and how he's just like completely like blown away about some of this stuff, and then Sandman, who the hardcore legend Sandman, and the way how he's just popping about some of the stuff, it's just crazy. But like New Jack has literally the most controversial career. You guys got to check this episode out. I'm going to talk about some stuff, but you guys got to watch this because this is just, I don't even know if my notes even suffices the intensity and the cringiness of like what was being depicted in these stories and the footage and all that other stuff. Because like this man literally gave zero fucks. Like nothing was too far for this dude. This not the stunts, not the promos, not the bumps, not the drugs, not the violence. Nothing was too far. The fact that he was even, they asked him what was too far and he gave a story, but then he still gave zero fucks about it. Like this guy really, really just knew no end to it. And we'll talk a little bit possibly why, but nonetheless, New Jack, who her name is Jerome Young, and it's crazy that at the end of this, they're just like, no one even knows who Jerome Young is because he fully lived this New Jack gimmick. And indeed he was, because like this character in New Jack, like good lord, and like even the faction that was in the gangsters, I had no clue about that, and they're channeling their inner NWA, just the angry black man. They're going in each of these territories and they're riling up the crowds like no other. Like they just oh my god, the heat that these guys brought is just wild. And then like Mustafa, who's part of the faction, pencil shavings, people. So all I'm gonna say, pencil shavings, they will never ever have the same reaction from me again. Now, just even as a kid, at this, kids, we did stupid stuff when we were younger. I don't know if any one of my friends or just anybody, period, I don't even think this was ever a conceivable idea of Mustafa and his relation to pencil shaving. That's all I'm gonna say. But again, this whole stable gave zero fucks. They had no filter. Hell, when they cut promos on TV, they had to have a disclaimer for their promo. Like, that is the wildest thing ever. And like, even while he's working, these independent promotions and territories, like the fact that I knew him from ECW, I just knew things were going to get worse. And the fact when he got to ECW is just, that's when everything just went up the ante on everything. The guy just, oh my god. So the mass transit story that they talked about with it, with the 17-year-old kid, just so many wows about that story because, like, literally there was so many red flags in it, and just the aftermath period is just like, wow, little kid, 17-year-old kid get 50 stitches. I mean, like the cringiness, just oh my god, and just, you know, how I got global attention, how I got an assault charge and had to go to court, like, wow, just wow. And then, like, the fact, you know, my knowledge of professional wrestling, you know, you do the work in the ring and that's what it is. But the fact that this guy had legit ring beefs that carried in and out the ring, but transpired within the ring with like real intentions and vengeance is again going too far, because oh my god, like, you know, the guy cracking his skull, but then, you know, because of a spot going wrong, but then taking it back out on him. And then nonetheless, like, while this guy's doing all this, you know, riling up the crowd, the immense amount of racial slurs that were thrown to him does not make it, nothing about this is like acceptable. The racial slurs, the how he went too far is just it is what it is. Like, and then, like, you know, the racial discrimination parts that he had to endure is just, I'm not surprised at all. But, like, you know, it's just, you take all that and encompass his roots of his past, his really domestic violence upbringing within his family. It fed into his gimmick that, you know, he was able to really, you know, channel a source of energy and violence because of his family roots, put it into his gimmick, and it's just manifested into this character New Jack that just knew no limits. And it's just absolutely just wow. That's all he could say, is just like wow, because, you know, and hearing him talk about this and hearing him like having no remorse for certain situations, and, you know, some of the psychology between certain matches that was worked and bookings and all this other stuff is it is something to say. Oh, you guys gotta watch this. That's all I gotta say. You gotta go check this out. This is episode 2 of Dark Side of the Ring, The Life and Crimes of New Jack. I don't even know what's going to expect for week 3, but we will be recovering it. We will be reviewing it, because oh man, if Vice is going hard like this, I just and the other stories I know that's on Slate, oh my goodness. But again, like, for somebody who knew of the character but didn't know of the story, this was just mind-blowing face emoji of just how intense this guy was, and, you know, how he gave zero fucks, and like, when you work with him, you knew what you were getting, and it was all him. It was either you worked the style match he wanted to work, or you didn't have a choice. This guy, like, he lived, walked, and talked his gimmick. It was truly his lifestyle, and he was out to kill people. He was out to put a beating on people. He was going to make people regret working him, and he was also going to make sure that crowd never forgot him. That's a statement to be made in something that takes choreography between two people to create a athletic theatrical performance. And when there's a certain form of unity and synchronization, you got amazing matches. But when you got one guy that's out for his own, oh my goodness. But until next episode, people.